What's good people, and welcome back to the channel here on Crew Productions. My name is BK, and this is the Silly, Nerdy, and Wordy podcast with episode 98, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, as I am continuing my Blu-ray rewatch nerdy series. And this is what I'll be getting into today, the story beats as well as production things about the story. What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody is doing very well. Glad to be back with you. Thank you for all of you who are watching, who are subscribed, who are listening and downloading, listening only. Appreciate all of you for subscribing, for downloading. And if you're new here, subscribe to the channel here as I do movie reviews on Blu-rays as well as films that released in theaters and some Broadway I do as well when I actually go to the actual Broadway show live and see it in person. And then I do a review about things, decisions that are made on stage, off stage, on screen, and off screen as I weave them into my reviews and highlight those creators and those people behind the camera, as well as the previous projects that they have worked on that all of us, most of us, have seen. So I'll be getting into this film and this Harry Potter movie number 5. It is directed by David Yates, and at this point in time, he has directed movie 5 through 8. So he was the one that directed this Order of the Phoenix, and then he went all the way through Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. He directed those two as well. And he directed all 3 Fantastic Beasts movies. Now, with this story, this film, overall, I liked it. It's definitely one of the better Harry Potter films. And also, right away, once it starts with the WB, the Warner Brothers title card, the look of it, the tone of the score, it puts you in that right away, telling you before anybody comes on camera that this is going to be a little bit more of a darker film as they all continue to get more darker towards Deathly Hallows Part 2. So I love how it started off right away with this. I also like how it took a bit of time before they ultimately got to Hogwarts in the film. So I do like that. However, I will say the first 30 to 45 minutes on this rewatch, I would say the rhythm of it was, the pacing was a little bit slow. But after that 30 to 45 minutes, it definitely picked up for me. And I just also like this overarching story that is leading up to this battle between Harry and Voldemort, as each film continues to plant seeds and goes through this, particularly starting from movie 3 on, I would say. So I like how it's continuing to build up to that. And then the journey that Harry went through in this film, in one sense, you would say he was alone. He was by himself, but he wasn't. But I will say there was a bit of a distance between Harry and Ron and Hermione in terms of emotional distance, I would say, to protect them. And he was just going through stuff on his own. So, but I like the journey he took from where the film started to where it ended and where it's going as we get to movie number 6. So I do like what happened there. And then, of course, the tradition continues with bringing in a new professor for the professor of the dark arts. This time is the character of Dolores Umbridge, portrayed by Emilia Staton. And I do want to give props to her, the actress, as well as the writers for her character, because they did a really good job of making you really dislike the character. Like, I truly disliked her character and what she did for the school. I just did not like her at all. And so the writers did a great job of bringing those words, and the actress did a great job of bringing those words to life, and the acting and the reading and the blocking of it and everything she did, just really didn't like her. And so when what happened to her at the end definitely felt deserved. So great job to both the actress and the writer of that character. And then one of the things I want to talk about And this goes right towards the end of the film. And that is when Harry and all of his friends, they got to the ministry to try to get uh, this glass ball um, that had the prophecy. And towards the end of that, they were trying to run out of the ministry as they were fighting off Voldemort's enemies. And they were in a very narrow hallway. So, what I believe in terms of how this scene was filmed, I think they probably did some previs with some actors, but also then they got the actual actors in there and filmed it in a particular hallway, probably not as narrow as it was when they were leaving, and then have the camera in front, behind them, overhead, to the left and to the right, and filming them as they're running out and using the charms to fight off the bad guys. And then you bring in the visual effects people to have that in terms of things falling down on them and also just shrinking the hallway. So just a bit of in terms of what I believe happened in terms of how that scene was filmed, because once we see the final product as they're leaving, it's a very narrow hallway with all those things falling down on them. And so just something I thought about that I noticed there, just wanted to talk about with that. And then once they leave the ministry and then they're out in this big open space, one of the things I wanted to mention is the battle sequence at that point. Once they get up from the ground, we see all of you can say Voldemort's army, his small army, and then the battle eventually ensues with the Order of the Phoenix coming down to help. I like the way how that whole scene went in terms of the music, in terms of how the cameras were rotating and the battles that were happening with that. And that took a lot of coordination. And there's a couple of roles that I want to highlight. In one role, particular, the first role, I want to talk about the visual effects producer. And I'm going to read this definition. The visual effects producer, that person is responsible for managing the entire process of creating and integrating the visual effects for a film or a TV project. This includes overseeing the budgets, the schedules, team coordination, and communication between the directors, the VFX supervisors, artists, and post-production teams to ensure the final VFX meet the creative and technical goals of the production. So they're kind of a project manager, so to speak, but with the visual effects background, making sure everything is moving smoothly in that department in collaboration with the director and all the different teams. The visual effects producer for this particular Harry Potter film, her name is Emma Norton. And she has worked on pretty much Harry Potter movie number 3 all the way through movie number 8 through Deathly Hallows Part 2. She's also worked on 4 DC films, including The Flash in 2023, Wonder Woman in 2017, The Suicide Squad in 2021, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom in 2023. So she had a hand in that battle sequence towards the end with Voldemort's army and the Order of the Phoenix. Another role that was important in this scene to me, because I saw these credits as the movie was ending, I thought this would be cool to talk about because I haven't really spoken about these roles. But the way the camera was rotating and how the battle was happening for that, another role, a camera operator and Steadicam. That role was by Jeremy Hillis. And then the B camera operator, which Wojciech Sterin, and then also the first assistant camera, which is Kim Serber and Henrik Jadanik. They were the ones behind those roles, operating those cameras for us to get what we saw in that final sequence when the Order and Voldemort's army were battling. So just wanted to shout those people out. I thought they did an excellent job, along with all the other departments and the director and pursuing the vision and how that scene ultimately came together. So great job with that. And also particularly that sequence with Voldemort and Dumbledore with the Battle of the Wands, with those visual effects. I loved how that was happening as well. And then also getting towards the end of the film, I want to talk about Daniel Radcliffe and possibly his body double, his stunt double, the physical acting that he had to do when he was on the ground and he was having that internal battle with Voldemort as he was trying to get into his mind to get the uh, the prophecy from him, and he was battling that with him, and ultimately said, I'm not alone, I have my friends, you'll never have that, and he said, you will lose. But the way Daniel was moving on the ground in terms of the physicality and moving around with that, I thought that was very good, whether it was him and or his stunt double. That took a lot of discipline, and you wonder how many takes it took for him to get the final take on that. So it's a small bit of thing, but I just wanted to talk about that, the movement of him doing that on the ground. So definitely liked how that was done in this film. So those are some of the things, the production things also weaved into the story. On screen, I really liked how the things were done, how it was filmed, and the roles and the people behind those that brought it together, because those are important people and roles for us to ultimately enjoy the final product. Overall, again, I thought this was one of the better Harry Potter films for sure. I love the dark tone of it as we move towards movie number 8, Deathly Hallows Part 2. So as I continue in this Harry Potter series. So I hope you learned something, hope you enjoyed it, and if so, subscribe to the channel here on Cool Boy Productions. You can also listen or watch it on the different podcast feeds. Just search for the Silly, Nerdy, and Wordy podcast and hit the follow button there. And thank you for all of those that are listening and downloading. I see you, the people consistently downloading. So thank you very much. Thank you for all the subscribers. And then I have the shorts on TikTok. You can follow me at Nerdy Podcaster 124 as I put a lot of the shorts on there as well. I have a second channel with just shorts only, and it is Cool Boy Productions Presents Nerdy Notes. Subscribe to that channel as well. And that is all I'm going to have for you today. Again, I have the playlist of the Harry Potter films and the other nerdy Blu-ray films. I'll link that in the description so you can check those out as well and see what I thought about the previous Harry Potter films. And I'll continue to do the other Harry Potter films and other nerdy Blu-ray films, including Hunger Games. I'll get back to Lord of the Rings as well, and other films, and then back in the theater as well once those movies are coming out. And then also, I'll be going to the theater hopefully soon if the weather doesn't do anything. On the Broadway front, I'll be going to see Hell's Kitchen in a couple weeks, the play that Alicia Keys is involved with her music. So I'm excited to see that in a couple weeks. So I'll be seeing that and reviewing that on the Broadway front, and in Hamilton later on this year in June. So that's what I'll be getting into. But I hope all of you guys have a great rest of your day with amazing vibes. And that's all. So until next time, we will talk soon.